Detroit, let's be realistic here, okay? Let's get comfortable with being uncomfortable. You know, had I told you were opening up the season last year, against the Kansas City Chiefs, you would have been like, damn, that's unlucky. I think this year you're looking forward to it. You're optimistic. You're at least expecting your team to compete. You think you actually have a chance. And I don't think you're crazy. Granted, Andy Reid hasn't lost a game since 2015 on the home opener, or season opener, excuse me, but hey, we'll look past that for a second. I think things are really changing. The dynamic, the belief, it's never been higher, in my opinion. It's at an all-time level. Mm-hmm. You look at this Lions team. Guys, please, you can call in today. You can leave comments in the chat. Hell, you can send me letters in the mail. Just stop me, interrupt me if I'm being crazy here. But can we just look at the Lions and forget that any of you are Lions fans for a minute? Do you not look at that football team and say, that's a good football team? They got weapons. They got a really good offensive line. Defensive line is probably going to be a lot better than it was last year. Oh, they upgraded their secondary with free agents that any team would love to have.
Complete makeover.
What are we looking at? Am I looking at something that... Am I missing something? Are they not a good football team?
No, they are.
Because they fucking look like one.
Yeah.
And I think you should treat them as such.
And that's how they should be treated. I think game one, although it is the Chiefs, it is the Super Bowl champions, this is what you want. It's a good test, number one. Number two, you get to face Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. We know their record. You brought it up, undefeated in home openers since, 2015?
Season openers, I apologize.
Season openers, yep. Excuse me. But it is at home as well in Arrowhead. But here's the other kicker. At least it's a positive thing you're getting the Chiefs week one. I keep saying that because personally, the healthiest your team's going to be, at least you can try and catch them off guard, but it is a good measuring stick. And you look through the schedule too, and I know there were some leaks that came out, and I didn't look at any of the leaks because I wanted the official schedule. The first two games, Chiefs, Seahawks, at least the Seahawks are at home, and we know how last year's game went. Even after that, you got the Falcons and Packers. It's not the hardest schedule, I guess, at first. The first two games are tough, but in general, without J-Mo, this ain't too bad. Falcons, Packers, Panthers, Buccaneers, that ain't too bad. The first two games, though,
if you're going to miss what you expect to be your outstanding wide receiver for 6 games, that you couldn't have asked for a better schedule,
right?
Especially the weeks that you do play them. Having said that, before we even get to the schedule, I really want to acknowledge this. We have to say these things out loud before you call in and tell me 10, 11, 12 wins. We have to say this out loud before you call in and say, oh, the same old Lions, they're not going to deliver, they're going to disappoint again. We have to talk about this. This is a good football team. This isn't the media are jumping on the train. This isn't you're being sold really an 8-win team, and because you're fans, you think they can win 3 more. No. This is a really good football team. 4-2 in the division will be disappointing this year. That's how good of a football team it is. Mm-hmm. It's a good roster. It's an improving roster. Still young, but my goodness, they got better. And I'm not even including the draft. The draft is secondary in my mind right now.
Right.
This roster, you look across the board, is not only good enough to win the division, it's good enough to really push some of the better teams in the NFL. I'm not saying you're going to be able to beat Kansas City 4 out of 5 times. I'm not saying you're there yet where you can go toe-to-toe with Joe Burrow and the Bengals 4 out of 5. No. But man, you're close. And you're in a position a lot of teams would rather be in and wish to be in, given how you've built your team. It's all been through the draft. That's just this past offseason. You've addressed free agency really for the first time. You got a good football team. I know we'll get to the schedule, home games, away games, when they're scheduled, when they're not, unlucky schedule, prime time here, prime time there. You got a Monday nighter against the Raiders. I know. But can we just, before we do any of this, you got a football team. Mm-hmm. It's a real football team. Am I fucking crazy?
No, you're not. And I know even people say, because you compare it to last year and every year's different, you went 9-8 with that schedule as those teams were constructed. But even this season, you tend to, every team technically tries to get better. So you can't say the Lions got significantly better. Well, a lot of these teams got significantly better, but what's the gap between the Lions and those teams, respective teams? And it's funny going through this schedule like I did last night, and you actually think in your head as you're going through it, Lions are better than this team, Lions are better than this team, at least on paper, which you couldn't do that last year. You went through the schedule, and even we picked 8 wins. I think mutually everybody would agree, if you're listening or watching, or people on Twitter that I've seen, I haven't seen anybody without double-digit wins. So the expectations are clearly they've risen. But going through the schedule, the Lions are better than a lot of these teams on paper. But it's up to them to go prove it.
Yeah, I really just want to be the voice this morning that says, hey, guys, it's okay.
Yeah, it's all right.
For year one, our first year doing the show, I guess it wasn't our first year, but, we were months, not even a month into the first show. We had to hear 10-win train. You guys are 10-win limousine, joint bell. We all remember this, right?
Right.
Cool. And it was kind of like, all right, whatever. Like you and me just went over it last year. 7 wins was the floor, 9 was the ceiling. They hit 9 right on the dot. You predicted 8 and 9. I predicted, I think, 7 and 10. So not too far off, but it is what it is. And we're here to tell you this year, guys. I mean, your floor is 10. Your floor is 10. We'll get to the schedule in 6 minutes. Your floor is 10. I think your ceiling is 12.
And this is what I see a lot too. Ryan at WoodwardSports.com says when other teams see Lions on their schedule, they expect to win. Just saying, but here's the difference.
Yeah, I think you're really you're looking at history more than the football team.
There you go.
I think if you go through the Lions schedule, I think if you look at the football team, week 1 and 2 are going to be very difficult. Whether or not you go 1-1, that's not the point.
Right.
But you look at Atlanta, tricky game. You look at any division rival, it'll always be tricky. It's a division rival. It's an intense game. But you're the Lions. You have the best roster in the division right now. You should go 5-1. And to me, that's like the worst case scenario. 4-2, I would be shocked if they lost 2 games. I think this team is miles ahead of anybody in the division right now. You get Tampa on your schedule. You get Carolina. I don't think everybody in Tampa Bay and Carolina are sitting there saying, oh, we got the Lions. They're like, oh, shit. Well, they can drop 30 on us easy. That's not fun.
Right.
God help our rookie quarterback.
I mean, even going, just bring up quarterback play. And I know we're going to get into the schedule, but that's the biggest thing I took away, too, because besides the Chiefs,
it's a very friendly
Chargers,
schedule for quarterbacks.
It
is not.
Chiefs, Chargers, okay, I'll give you Herbert, but even then, you talk about Geno, Desmond Ritter, Jordan Love, Bryce
Young. You got maybe
Young,
3 elite quarterbacks
Baker Mayfield
that you're playing.
Yes.
Elite max.
You're going to have the better quarterback in 75, 80% of these games. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, even down the stretch, you got Kirk Cousins, Russell Wilson. We'll see with Sean Payton. I think he'll do a good job over in Denver. But still, we don't know anything about Jordan Love. We don't know anything about Justin Fields. At least you have a proven commodity.
Okay.
In Jared Goff. So you have that advantage. And this comment right here, WoodwardSports.com, that's not true, Jeff. We are now the hunted. See, there's a difference. You can be the hunted, but to say you look at the Lions.
If you're the hunted, you know what that means?
That's a good thing.
That's a good thing. That means you are one of the teams that people are looking at like, oh, man, we got to be like them. The problem is I don't think you're there yet. I don't think you can call yourself the hunted. You haven't even made the playoffs.
Yeah, that's the difference.
Seriously. No. And this isn't me being a negative Nancy here. You haven't made the fucking playoffs.
It's
know who the hunted are?
Yeah.
It's the Bengals, the Chiefs, the Eagles, the Niners.
Yeah.
Hell, even the Cowboys to an extent. Those are the hunted.
I think the Lions are the hunted, I guess, in media hype. Like, you want to go beat the Lions. But
I
not
think there's a lot of
anything
expectation.
Yes.
Rightfully so.